Selamat sejahtera and good afternoon, doctor. My name is Janet Hall-Casey. I'm from Group 40, and the commodity that our group chose is soy sauce. And here is our group member. Our group consists of 6 members, which are Siti Nur Izati, Vanessa Linjaja, Nur Shahida, Umi Aiman, and me, Janet Hall-Casey, and Jafira. Soy sauce is a savory seasoning sauce that widely used in Oriental and American cuisines to impact an appetizing flavor to several cooked foods. It is a reddish brown liquid and is used to enhance the umami taste and adding the color to the foods. Soy sauce is a fermented product and it is made by a 2-step fermentation process from wheat flour and soybean with a mixture of mold, yeast, and bacteria. Since microorganisms are present in productions, so to avoid microbial contaminations, sodium chloride is commonly added. Due to the high salt content and low water activity, soy sauce is stable at ambient temperature and it does not require to keep in refrigerator during the storage. Other than fermentation, soy sauce also can make from hydrolyzed vegetable protein. It is produced by using acid hydrolysis to hydrolyze soy proteins into amino acids and blend it with sugar, color, and flavoring ingredient into a sauce. And it can resemble naturally fermented soy sauce. In order to expand the soy sauce market, traditional productions of soy sauce should be improved to be more safety and quality. The production of soy sauce should consist of implementations and international accepted the Hazard Analysis Critical Control Point (HACCP) program. And it is the only way to better enable the modernization of traditional industry of the soy sauce. HACCP is a management system in which food safety is addressed through the analysis and control of biological, chemical, and physical hazards from the raw material productions, procurement and handling to manufacturing, distribution, and consumption of the finished product. HACCP is based on 7 principles. The first principle is conduct a hazard analysis. The second is identify the critical control point. Critical control point is a step at which control can be applied and is essential to prevent and eliminate a food safety hazard or reduce it to an acceptable level. The third principle is establish critical limit. Critical limit is a maximum or minimum value to the which a biological, chemical, or physical parameter must be controlled at a CCP to prevent, eliminate, or reduce to an accepted level the occurrence of food safety hazards. And the next principle is establish monitoring procedures, establish corrective actions, establish record-keeping productions, and the last one is establish verification procedures. And here is a nutritional information of 1 tablespoon of soy sauce. 1 tablespoon of soy sauce is equal to 16 grams. And this nutritional information is from US Department of Agriculture. Next is information of the soy sauce. Soy sauce is a product that manufactured from soybean which undergo a process called fermentation, soak, and ground. It is a condiment that containing hydrolyzed protein which made by fermentation or chemical hydrolysis. They also have other types of soy sauce which is blended soy sauce and curd soy sauce. Soy sauce can be prepared with salt, carbohydrate, alcohol, chemical flavor, and preservative. Soy sauce is a flavorful condiment and it acts as a seasoning is due to the salty taste and sharp flavor, and it also can be a preservative. And how to make soy sauce? Soy sauce is made out from boiling and brewing of the soybean and wheat. The soybean is 60% and the wheat is 40%. Soybean will be soaked and steamed, while the wheat will be undergo roasted and crushed. And these 2 ingredients are mixed. The cooked soybean will mix with microorganism which is Aspergillus species. Before the fermentation process, it will produce codi, and codi will be covered with salt water. Codi will release a protease and amylase enzyme into a raw mixture. Over the time, the soybean will hydrolyze due to the presence of protease enzyme, and this causes the soy and wheat proteins will hydrolyze into amino acid and small peptide, while the amylase converts starch in wheat into the simple sugar, and this simple sugar is provide energy for the codi to live and impact the sweetness of the soy sauce. After the formation of the codi, brine will be added to the codi to form moromi, and then undergo fermentation process at 14 to 15 degrees Celsius. At the first stage of moromi fermentation, some microorganisms will grow, such as Prediococcus halophilus, and this will lead to the production of lactic acid and cause a lowers in pH and give a acidic medium. When the pH of soy sauce is dropped to the acidic condition, that will cause alcohol fermentation due to the presence of glycosaccharomyces. After this process, it will produce 2 to 3% of ethanol. Some aroma also being produced by some yeast, such as Candida versatilis and Candida astralis. It also by some phenolic compounds such as 4-ethylglycol, 4-EG, and 4-ethylphenol. At the end of this process, it will produce a thin and reddish brown liquid, which primarily flavor of salt and umami. Next, there are 4 types of soy sauce. The first is fermented soy sauce. It is a pure condiment that obtained from fermentation and origins of soy sauce, because it will be produced from soybean. This also involves the hydrolysis enzyme, which addition of wheat or rice by steaming and culture with starter culture such as asparagus. Then adding the brines and moroni. The second type of soy sauce is chemical hydrolysis soy sauce. It is a pure liquid condiment by fermenting an origin of the vegetable proteins, which been hydrolyzed by the enzyme treatment. The process that using the amino acid solutions that come from hydrolyzer of moroni and soybean. Next is blended soy sauce. It will be blended with loose soy sauce and chemical hydrolysis soy sauce. The last one is curd soy sauce. Curd soy sauce is an untreated liquid obtained from pressing, fermented, and aged soy sauce mass. Next is about the factory of the soy sauce. First, the factory should not be located in an area that are liable to contamination, and it must be easy to clean. The ground of the factory should free from body of water, mud, and dirt. For the processing plant, it must free from any facility able to cause odor, harmful or toxic gases, and smoke. The premise build must be separate from the manufacturing, preparation, processing, and food active storage area. And it must have the good lighting, and the fertilization must be equipped with device to prevent vector instructions of microbial contamination.
Now, let us move to material handling. Material handling is the movement, protection, storage, and control of materials and products throughout manufacturing, warehousing, distribution, consumption, and disposal. Material handling includes any or all movements, packaging, and storage of materials, parts, assemblies, and products. All such movement of materials from the receipt of the raw materials to the shipment of finished products. So, good material handling must be carried out in the factory, must be conducted with a right flow to prevent any cross-contamination and to save the cost. Handling soybean information, understanding the behavior of the bulk product, and designing appropriate and efficient mechanical handling systems to manage its characteristic. How we want to handle, monitoring temperature and moisture levels to identify mold damage or insect activity should help maximize storage life and prevent deterioration. Next, let us move to movement and storage. The movement and positioning of purchased materials of soy sauce ingredients for storage and transport must be in a good condition from farm to factory. Example transportation is ship, truck, and also railroad. For example of storage, the best type of storage that we can use is ventilated container, since the water content of soybean is less than 8% of the lower and the lower limit set for the water content of packaging and container flooring, and the oil content of the goods are complied with. Soybean is the most important ingredient in soy sauce making to keep the soybeans fresh and new. Storage space requirement must be in cool, dry, good ventilation. Material handling in warehouse. A warehouse has a lot of moving parts. Literally, it's why poor material handling brings sweeping consequences. Effective material handling in warehouse, when a shipment arrives, ensures goods get from the dock to the appropriate rack in good time. Also can mitigate theft, damage, and spoilage with a material handling process that limit access to certain parts of your warehouse to particular employees. And the last part for material handling is in disposal or recycling. Organizations must remove food waste from areas where fresh food is present as quickly as possible to avoid cross-contamination. Food waste must be disposed of in container that can be sealed shut, are made of appropriate robust material, are kept in a good condition, and are easy to clean and disinfect. The factory must also have adequate facilities for keeping and disposing of food waste as well as other rubbish. Waste stores need to be well designed and managed to keep them clean and free from animals and pests. Disposing of food waste must be done in a hygienic and environmentally friendly way in accordance with the local authorities' rules.
Is critical consumption of soy sauce production. So first of all, the recipe of soy sauce production is washing. Washing is food processing operation to clean the surface of raw material to be used to remove particulate material and to reduce microbial load on them. So if you lost of control at this point, it could be lead to the identified hazard in excess of acceptable limit. So next is cooking stage. It can be done at ambient atmospheric pressure. So next is wheat kernel. We have to roast by hot air treatment and costly mill to prevent particles. The roasting causes the wheat protein and starch to be accessible for enzymatic degradation. So next stage is soaking process that follow. Washing and of the soaked soybean may be reduced the identified hazard, but the soaking time of 8 to 10 hours allowed for the rapid growth of the microbe present. So if loss of control at this stage may lead to the identified hazard in amount greater than the acceptable level in beverages. When soy protein is immature, moisture content is increased and some undesirable components are inactivated. So major undesirable components of raw soybean include the trypsin inhibitor, which is a protein that blocks soya digestion in the human gastrointestinal tract, and nitrogenase, an enzyme that can generate beta-testin liquid derivative during soaking of soybean in water. So cooking has improved digestibility and help to avoid regenerating of taste. So the heat treatment of soybean eliminates trypsin inhibitor and hydrolyze phytic acid. This step is critical for the removal of this anti-nutritive factor. So, high water activity support growth of microorganisms, which could come as spoilage or pathogenic depend on the storage condition with the consumer. In inoculation, incubation takes place at 30 degrees Celsius for 3 days, during which period the fungal mycelium grow and a start of sporulation becomes visible. For veggie production, soybean will first soak in water for 10 hours, then the soybean will cook by autoclave for 20 minutes at 121 degrees Celsius. The decline of pH during fermentation may also be attributed to autolysis of microbial cells, accumulation of free fatty acid, amino acid, and peptide containing carboxylic side chain as a result of hydrolysis of material in soy sauce. So the final is recipe packaging material. So container which is brought into direct contact with food such as bottle, tin can, carton, and pouch. All those materials should be following food sanitation and hygiene law and regulation. The next is pest. First pest is cockroach. Characteristic of cockroach, it can found in cracks, crevices in walls, door frame, equipment, furniture, secretive in bathrooms, utility closets, steam tunnels, animal houses, basements, and sewers. So cockroach will consume food that man eats, especially carbohydrate. Cockroach carries strain of bacteria that will cause diarrhea and also causing the unpleasant smell of the surrounding. The next pest is fly. Fly is highly mobile fish which can travel from food to food. So if it carries a wide range of diseases, causing bacteria will cause diseases such as cholera and dysentery. Is rodent. So characteristic of rodent is good survivability and reproductive nature. Rodent also sensing organs help them to move in the dark and help them to judge the shape and size of the object. And also, rodent contribute to the spread of disease, contamination of product, and also the damage to food stock and property. Rodent also able to spread disease causing bacteria via dropping and urine, such as Salmonella species. So, the way of controlling the pest according to IPM. First of all, you need to monitor, locate their hiding place, and place sticky traps and glue spots, and also inspect the trap regularly to identify and locate the infest place so that the nest of the cockroach can be destroyed in time. And so sanitation, store food in container wells, repair leaking pipes and vacuum crevices, routinely remove food and debris and clean up spilled food and beverages regularly. Also, removal of hiding places, remove sources that are possible to provide hiding place, seal cracks, walls, and other openings, and keep a layer of gravel. So for cockroach, we can also use chemical control using insecticide in the form of gel bait, dust bait, and powder form, most effectively to control current cockroach infestation. How to monitor flies? So locate spot with flies, feces, and regurgitation, walls, or fan surface. So sanitation, remove and dispose organic waste such as animal feces, rotting fruits or food, kitchen garbage in bin with pipe fitting lid. You can also removal of entrance into the premise, such as seal cracks around window and doors, install well-fitted screen onto window, chemical control and trapping, use sticky fly trappers or fly traps, use inverted cone traps with high foot attractants, ultraviolet fly traps, top zappers and fly swatter. Also use fly baits, foggers and spray aerosol. So, how to monitor rodents? We have to identify foods with rodent dropping as the smell is strong. Identify furniture with gnawing marks, hearing the sound of rodent. And sanitation, store food in container, dispose garbage in a bin with pipe fitting cover, and place garbage bin far away from every entrance. So next is remove hiding places and entrance into premise. We have to seal cracks and openings. Doors need to fit tightly. All access points to the roof needed to be sealed. And the next, we have to use chemical biological control and trapping, use rodenticide, and place trap outside the perimeter of building. Also use glue board in the building.
The last one is waste. Waste is biodegradable waste discharged from various sources, including food processing industries, or those materials remain after processing of primary product. For soy sauce factory, waste materials come from component fluently in municipal liquid and solid waste. Example of waste is solid residual and wastewater. Solid residual from food processing has two types, which is residual food materials and also non-food residuals. Residual food materials, the substance that are delivered as raw commodities but are unusable in the primary product. Example of waste such as H-Moromi mesh, which is produced as a byproduct process that comes from soy sauce processing. The H-Moromi mesh is pressed filtrated through the cloth under increasing hydraulic pressure to separate the solids from liquid soy sauce. So the picture shows the example of animal feed from soy sauce residuals and also solid residual as animal feed. How to manage the solid waste? By using the recycling method, which is the reprocessing of waste products so that they can be reused. Recycle solid residue into an animal feed. We can use cattle, pig and poultry to livestock farmers through feed manufacturing companies. Why use the solid residue as an animal feed? Because they have high nutritional value and excellent functional properties. The using of the soy sauce residue gave the lowest feed cost without reducing the performance of animal growing. Besides that, the solid residual from soy sauce processing has been used as fuel and fertilizer. The fuel from soy sauce solid residual was used as fuel for boilers at the factory. And for liquid waste type, wastewater is liquid waste, which is the residue accumulate as a byproduct of soy sauce processes. The wastewater may become from spillage, cleaning and washing, which has a very high polluting potential. Commonly, the wastewater has high COD, BOD, total suspended solid TTS, protein and has deeper color blue due to fermentation process, which will contribute to the strong colors. The wastewater is conveyed through a network or sewer pipes to a treatment plant. So how we want to manage the liquid waste? The wastewater is conveyed through a network or sewer pipes to a treatment plant. The wastewater is treated at the plant to remove harmful matter that could cause pollution before the wastewater is discharged to the environment. So treatment that we can use such as biological treatment processes, and for effective removing of color, pre-treatment by coagulation with polyaluminium chloride and lime. The wastewater treated by earlier type wastewater treatment equipment. And the last one is the ability of aerobic granular slush for treating soy sauce wastewater. As conclusion, we know that soy sauce is a widely consumed seasoning used in Asian food and become more popular worldwide. The production of soy sauce contains microorganisms, so critical control should be performed well to increase the safety and quality of the product. In the factory, good material handling also should be carried out to increase the productivity and save the cost. The waste produced from the processing should be well managed to reduce the cross-contamination occur. The pests that may produce harmful effects to humans, food and living conditions should be avoided in the production line. So here are reference. Thank you from us, Group 14.